Our adventure today begins at Reading and Northern's new Nesquehoning Regional Railroad Station, part of the railroad's Nesquehoning campus. The various buildings here are being converted to house locomotive and car servicing facilities, offices, and classrooms. Our Black Diamond Company store, which offers numerous railroad-related souvenirs, both in person and online, is also based here. This location is ideally situated right in the middle of our main line between North Reading and Pittston.
Okay.
Thank you.
These cars are much heavier.
Yeah, but
Not below. So you're making up a lot because of the weight of the cars, passengers.
All over the place.
Another one, made with wood, probably.
The bridge opened for service in February of 2020 and allows the Reading and Northern Railroad a progressive move between North Reading and key points north, such as Ponobscot, Pittston, and Tunkhannock.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
As we prepare to head into Lehigh Gorge State Park, you see another bridge on your right. This bridge also spans the Lehigh River and provides a connection for both rail and pedestrians between Jim Thorpe and Lehigh Gorge State Park. Our daily Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway trains, as well as our weekend excursion trains from Pittston, use this route. Looking left, you can see the Lehigh River, while looking right, you get a brief view of Jim Thorpe. At Cole, which is short for Coalport, the Lehighton branch ends and connects to the main line, while the Norfolk Southern Lehigh line will follow us northward for several miles. As we chug into the heart of Lehigh Gorge State Park, we begin the long climb up to Glen Summit. We'll let the action speak for itself until that point with minimal commercial interruption and give you much more detail about the sights, sounds, and natural beauty of Lehigh Gorge State Park on our southbound trip this evening.
Oh, if they're out there in the hall, I guess. Whoa. Go the other way.
Glenanoco Rock Cut.
I was in one of the crowds.
Flowing nicely.
Somebody who went to the dining car or something? How about this ass? Anybody who's just not here?
We got one of these last night.
Yeah.
I probably still got it.
Yeah, that's right.
camera too, but it's unaware.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The Gorge train, scenic train. Yeah. It comes up with everything else. It doesn't go, it stops and backs. I don't know where the stop's at.
It's a bit of foot forward.
Yeah.
Then we always got a kick out of the spur. Remember he's down the hall. And there's one in the hall. But I can't. Dutch Gold money is owned by Gamma.
Not out.
That's what I bought it from CD.
Yeah, they're kayaks down there.
Yeah. It was fun going through this. And your headlights all were rock.
Wow.
Well, it's been 10 years. So there's Northward. There she is. You're coming south. Your lights get merged. You can see it now. Your lights in the fire. It's not split. It's all dynamite forces.
Folks, we will need to close the doors and windows for our next tunnel, which is Whitehaven. That's not for several miles. I'll give everyone plenty of advance notice when we approach the Whitehaven tunnel. All doors and windows will need to be closed for that one. Thank you. Operating between the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Regional Railroad Station at Pittston and Jim Thorpe. Once again, they're on the running right-hand side.
That's the 6 chime.
Running right-hand side, that's also
I didn't know I know they have excursion down next door. How far back did you come?
Jim Thorpe.
There it is.
There it goes. Oh, and they got the anniversary.
There's a double track here.
I see many people on there.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Bridge,
New bridge. Yep. There's some kind of see all that.
This is Whitehaven. That's where you used to get in.
Yep. The rafts are down there.
Yeah,
Stacked up.
yeah. All stacked up, yeah.
I haven't seen that. It's the same.
No, me neither. Good sign of the new bridge. Wow.
Yeah, look at that. Is that the one you were talking about? That went down. Yeah. Probably just like that.
This is Whitehaven.
Whitehaven.
What happened? Something?
Oh, you said the PNS runs on this line?
That's off candy. Nothing except on the left, nothing ahead. All you had on there.
Whitehaven Tunnel.
Tunnel road. Tunnel road.
Makes sense.
Folks, we're going to be paused here for a little while just outside of Ponobscot Yard for the 2102 to take on water and for our diesel helper crew to couple onto the train. It consists of diesel engineer Russell Shirtliff and conductor Tim Wright. And it sounds like we have some fans of Mr. Shirtliff here in car 307.
So they must have been following us.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they must have been behind us.
We saw them.
You got about 4 cars.
As we cross Graysdale Avenue and pass Ponobscot Yard, watch for the handsome interlocking tower-style building on the running left. Reading and Northern completed this structure in 2006 to serve as a crew quarters and office for the Ponobscot Yard. Ponobscot was once a bustling yard owned by the Central Railroad of New Jersey. The CNJ once had a 16-stall roundhouse, 80-foot turntable, car repair shop, coaling dock, and passenger station at this location. In 2000, Reading and Northern resurrected several of the yard tracks after they had been inactive and neglected for decades. The yard now consists of 2 mainline tracks and 6 additional yard tracks. Penobscot also serves as a station stop on our popular weekend excursion trains operating between Pittston and Jim Thorpe.
Bunch of them.
They're in some rough shape. Look at that one, Dad.
Some rough looking F units.
Yeah. I don't think they've been moved in a while.
No, I don't think so.
That bomb was cool.
See it, honey?
Yeah.
Where we did that record job at.
In the remote community of Oliver Mills, we returned to double track at Laurel Run Interlocking and switched back to the rails of the former Lehigh Valley Railroad, once owned by Asa Packer. From Fraser to this point, we were operating over the former Central Railroad of New Jersey. The CNJ and the Lehigh Valley operated separate, parallel railroad lines over Ponobscot Mountain until the mid-1970s, when harsh economic conditions forced the two roads to rationalize and splice the two lines together. This segment of the Lehigh Valley ran from Penn Station in New York City to Buffalo, New York, over 440 miles. Communities of Laughlin and Yatesville. The scenery begins to change drastically here as our descent of Ponobscot Mountain nears its conclusion.
Hardware if we need something.
It was a small Polish town where, as you might guess, most of the jobs came from the local coal mining industry. Its name was changed to DuPont after the DuPont Explosives Company, a dynamite works whose products were used in many northeastern Pennsylvania coal mines in the late 19th to 20th century. A connection to Norfolk Southern's Sunbury line, which had been running parallel to us since we entered Pittston Township, is located here.
They were in operation about
As we enter the borough of not Avoca, but rather Avoca, we find on our running right a man-made waterway. Part of the Mill Creek Flood Control Project, the waterway will follow us as we cross McAlpine Street and make our way through the borough. Incorporated in 1871, the borough of Avoca was first known as Pleasant Valley, until 1887 when it was renamed Avoca after a small town in Ireland. Typical of most northeastern Pennsylvania towns, coal mining was once a key industry here. The Wilkes-Barre-Scranton International Airport, partly located in Avoca, is located just across Interstate 81 east of our location. Duryea was incorporated in 1901 and named for Civil War General Hiram Duryea. He was also an official of the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad. It was the practice of the DL&W to name station stops along its lines after its officials, hence the name Duryea. Phoenix Street will be our last public highway grade crossing on the route until we reach Tunkhannock. On the approach to Pittston, we sail over North Main Street and the Reading and Northern Railroad's Taylor Branch. And switch onto the Susquehanna branch for the remaining 21.5 miles of our journey to Tunkhannock.
He's chasing.
Yeah, yeah. Saw him like 4 times.
Well, I think
Saw one guy twice.
The former Lehigh Valley Railroad Yard, known as Coxton back then, is the largest classification yard on the Reading and Northern. It is so large that it is divided into 2 segments, Pittston Yard to the south and Riverside Yard to the north. 6 days a week, our flagship freight train, the Pittston Fast Freight, runs the entire length of our main line, round trip to reach Reading and return. This train hauls outbound freight destined for interchange with Norfolk Southern at Reading.
Well, thank you. Keep it in mind. I mean, we don't have plans to go away right now, but we will. That's something.
no other outlets. They get I saw there's no outlets. Local. Maybe trolleys and close the lower line. Right. I know an engineer that worked for us. Maybe we could try something to that big gun, but he went to these guys, and he's got a better schedule. He knows that they had these going what's going on this all last night. He lives
Yeah. And then the weight on the bottom.
by the way, it's fish. You can't get better grain or maybe some kind of grain because they're long.
They look exactly
The sand cars
the
are
same,
that
but
long.
you don't know.
The ones I see.
Yeah. The little girl. Said her sister. That's sister. That's tough.
With the car. It's 206.
There we go.
Just go to the payload. Okay. Years ago, it was 70. They made it bigger.
Folks, as we pass our diesel helper crew on the running left, give them a big round of applause for helping us get down the mountain safely.
Thank God for dynamic braking.
Oh, well, it should be sorry. It goes with me early.
Yeah.
Years of oxygen.
Yes.
Yeah, I have. It is.
Yeah, something like that. Might be corn. Hard to say. Yard doesn't like for artists, do they? Just looking big at how many cars were parked. It was very good.
Here they are.
Reach out and touch somebody.
Yeah, really.
inside the train goes off. Or when there's ice on it, it's diamond plate steel under there, but it all comes to ice.
All the way down here along the track.
Yeah. They went out 10th, they came back on 11th. Or actually, they didn't. They went out 10th and came back on 9th. Yeah. And the Albright College went out 12th, came back on 11th.
6 hours later.
We went around about.
Reddingfield, the only place you can have a street and get a full education. From elementary school to college. Right. And never leave home. And never leave home. Elementary school, middle school, senior high school, and all break. Well, I remember that last year before they finally ran the last trolley, the motormen talking to each other about whether they're going to become bus drivers or not. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess they had to make a big decision. Yeah. I think most of them just retired. I think so. If it doesn't work, of course, we'll go on through to the next car.
Tunkhannock is the seat of Wyoming County and was originally founded in 1841. The name Tunkhannock comes from a Mince Lenape term meaning bend in River Place. The borough is located on the east side of the Susquehanna River, just north of where its namesake creek empties into the river. Tunkhannock is the largest settlement in this region with over 1,800 people that call the town home. Over the last 150 years, Tunkhannock's economy depended greatly on the lumber business. Today, many people in and around the Tunkhannock area are employed by paper giant Procter & Gamble, which has a plant located just west of here in nearby Mahoopany. Procter & Gamble is one of the biggest freight customers on the Reading and Northern Railroad. Ladies and gentlemen, as soon as Conductor Bernhardt has the train properly spotted in the station, he will give the okay to your car attendants to detrain you. Please exit the train only where there's a uniformed car attendant with an open door and step box present. Please follow their instructions, such as take your time, watch your step, and hold on to the yellow handrails. and look down as you exit. We do not want anyone to get hurt. Depending on where we stop, those of you in the first few coaches may have to walk back a few cars to be able to detrain. Our arrival here in Tunkhannock concludes our northbound trip. Enjoy the Founders Day Festival, everyone, and we will see you back here at 3:30. Till then, Ruskiana, so long.
Is there anyone here who didn't get the Tunkhannock handout? Good.
So this is where we go to farm.
On the way back, please watch for this water coming out of the air conditioner.
Farm where the maple.
The bachelor person is What ticket?
I got the chairs.
A friend of mine, that's where everything is. I just have to go to work. But when I make it,
So how many will be out watching?
No, it's that would be bad.
Falls.
Get that plate, Steve. We just had ours last This is appropriate too.
Oh my God.
But what was EBC? But yeah, that's what they
were. Riverside Yard.
What's that pony called? They were talking about.
Still standing.
They pull over and start slowing the engine.
No, it's no, it is locomotive. Here it comes. There we go. Steam all the way. Steam all the way up the grade. Good. Up that grade.
Avoca.
If you put a brick on down the street instead of crossing it.
What was it? I was trying to look to see where that line used to cross through. And it's got to be somewhere near where we were 9 and 8. You mean the one I'm talking about? Yeah, so right there. Yeah, well, they went all the way to Slade. That's 143. But 309 is pretty much east of that, isn't it? Slade's is east.
What's interesting is that when they retired this team locomotives, even right after this, people were still trying to get fan trips to ride these things. You know, even back in the 60s, people didn't want to see these things go, you know. Sometimes tragic. That burns more, that burns nature. We should go ahead and retire. Perlman, make sure all the York Central Hudson guys are. I don't know what the problem is. Argues with it. So, point making use of the program. The steam dead. But it never really died. It still happened. There's railroads, steam excursions. Europe, steam.
Solomon's Gap.
Here it is.
That one.
Mountaintop.
Wild mustard is blooming along
I was going around it right when I coming back towards Philly.
This engineer is really good.
The rails, the triple X box cars on wheels that were coming down and ran off the track someplace, and we were delayed for about an hour and a half.
I haven't had beautiful German Shepherd with them watching the
Made it one day we were there. A lot of work.
I'm sure that's
Yep. Some of the same cars too.
while we were back up.
I can see trains
All the way down to Jim Thorpe Junction.
Yeah, I saw it.
park is located. Of course, we will see the river again upon emerging from the tunnel.
Not social media, but like director of photography. He does a lot of our videos. Her friend did a video one time. I'm sitting there waving on my couch. And I texted her, I'm like, yo, your guy's so good. I'm sitting there waving on my couch. The boners. That's why you can't make me. Now you can. I'll make it anyway. That's all right. No, don't worry.
No, so 1361 had the drivers are there. So we republished the journal services on them, and then those guys, they were very happy with those.
So they clear out. Are they not going to be roller bearing?
No.
So then why are they saying they're going to take it at all over God's creation if they're not going to make it roller bearing?
is that not a lot of people have expressed interest in hosting it. Stressman's really the only place that said, yeah, we'll run it all the time. True.
But like, I talked to a guy, I'm like, where are you going to run it? Where are you going to run it? He's like, we're going to run it all over the state. Like, first of all, how?
I want to see it on Long Branch.
Yeah.
The former
Who's
Long
going to
Branch.
take it there?
The coastline.
I'm like, listen, I'm all for the hike. Don't get me wrong. The thing looks beautiful.
Meets the Lehigh River, and the railroad appears to become double track again. This track to our right belongs to the Norfolk Southern Railway and is their Ashmore secondary track to Hazleton. From here south, it is part of their Lehigh line to Allentown and will follow us for the next several miles. The trail using the former Jersey Central right-of-way has reappeared to our left and will follow us all the way to River Junction, where we will diverge west to head back to Nesquehoning. Went over the river and followed its eastern bank as we just did for the past 14 miles. There's a runaround track here on the right, which is used by our Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway passenger trains that operate out of Jim Thorpe.
So it's like, hey, we were talking about this and this. Or just like texting the line goes, oh yeah, okay. And then we'll text me Kentucky and go, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Because we don't text me and be like, what's this again? Like, you know how people look different when they're not working? Yeah. Exactly.
For some things, originals are better, but for a boiler, it's got to work.
Yeah, I mean, like, Civil War steam locomotives, you've got to make this stuff. This isn't like hand-forged railroad shops of like the 1880s anymore. You know?
Not even that, you can make a recreation.
Exactly. It works. It's the same as better. Not better.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're not living in like, you know, the Bronze Age.
Yeah, it's almost 722 on our shop. Or the boiler for 722 on our shop. For a great smoke nose.
Jersey Central maintains stations at Glenanoco to serve what was once a beautiful mountain resort known as Hotel Juanetta. Built in 1886, the four-story luxury hotel was one of the highlights in the area, boasting 47 elegant rooms, as well as dining areas, tennis courts, and an 84-foot bar. Guests of the hotel were able to take in the sights along the Lehigh River in Glenanoco while also enjoying horse and carriage rides. In its heyday, the hotel boasted year-round tenants, as well as notable guests. However, in 1911, a fast-moving brush fire destroyed the hotel, and the land was left to be reclaimed by Mother Nature. Nesquehoning. And that means we will be arriving back at Nesquehoning Regional Railroad Station very shortly. On behalf of the staff and management of the Reading Blue Mountain and Northern Railroad, I would like to thank all of you very much for riding with us today on this Iron Horse Ramble. From Nesquehoning to Tunkhannock and back, we will have covered a total of 160 miles on today's trip. And on that note, how about another big round of applause for our operating crew, our steam engineer Shane Fredrickson, fireman Ian McEwen and Chuck Truesdell, and our conductor Rich Bernhardt for getting us to and from Tunkhannock safely. Those guys are some of the best in the business, let me tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope to see you next time when once more the Iron Horse Rambles. Now, Rusty had us saying good night, everybody.
All right.
I gotta see it. I wanted to go to Southbound, but you're going to Pittsburgh. That's right. You're headed out to Pittsburgh. No, I wish. I thought that maybe somebody else said that Pittsburgh on. Just we're going out to stay in the woods where the tunnels are. Sorry, I need to step.
You're good.
Hey, good talking to you.
Good talking to you too. Have a good night.
Excuse me?